right, we are back with our AI only championship series here in Civ 6. We are on to group stage 2, and well, before we get into it, I should go ahead and mention, so thanks to you guys, I did end up finding the XML file, which is the game file for the Dark Ages, or rather the Dramatic Ages. Now, what's weird is there's a lot of stuff going on in this doc. Like, I figured it would be a pretty short doc, but there's a lot of random stuff in here, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is or why this is even in here. I know some of it's based on the fact that, like, I don't have the government tab, but the governments and stuff like that are a little different with the Dramatic Ages. So I know some of that are about the different policies, but then there's just like random stuff here where it's just like, let's see if I can find one of just the random thing, like collectivism, farm production, amount 1. Like, okay, I guess you get a little bit more, but then like, unit is settler. No city has holy site. Like, wait, what? So I don't even know what those do. But here's the big reason I'm bringing this up. Right at the bottom, there's a nice little thing where it says free city influence. And this is one thing I didn't actually know because I only play on deity. But the influence for the free cities on deity is a 5. What I didn't realize is it's actually different for every difficulty level. So if you're playing on settler, which is the easiest difficulty, it's only a 1. So then deity's 5, immortals 4.5, emperor's 4, king's 3.5, prince is 3, warlord's 2.5, chieftain is 2, and then settler's 1. Now, they also have the Dark City loss for the AI. You know, it's only at a 10, which is based on like a 1 to 100 level. It's basically a percentage of how many cities you lose. So like it's almost always just one city for the AI because it's on 10, and so it always rounds down, and so the odds of the AI having more than, because what they would have to have 20 cities before they actually lose 2. So I think what we're going to try next group stage is I think we're going to go ahead and grab one of the lower value numbers. I'll go ahead and switch the deity value to, like, I don't know, we'll try maybe 3 and see what happens, see how aggressive the flipping is for the free cities. So essentially I love the idea still of them losing cities, but I also like the idea of the free cities not necessarily applying as much pressure on the AI. Like, I feel like they should be flipping because of another civ, not necessarily because of free cities. So anyways, where do we leave off? It's been a couple days. Oh yeah, we had China and Scotland over here. They were kind of competing with each other. Then we had Korea and Rome fighting with each other. We had Gran Colombia that seems like they have a really good spot down here. Then Zulu and Aztecs and Nubia were all next to each other. That's right. Aztecs declared war on Nubia, but Nubia had to counter, except they got the Dark Age. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we still have all 8 civs in the game, so no one has lost anything yet. Okay. I just also now noticed there's a bunch of free cities down here. Were those barbarian encampments? I don't know. I also need to look into the zombie one and maybe tweak the zombie one. I feel like the zombie one on deity is just kind of boring. Like, it doesn't really do anything. So I kind of want to bump it up so it does a little bit more damage. I mean, we literally saw all the zombies in the last game and they weren't doing anything. So, you know, I would like to see some zombies actually accomplishing something. Is there any of the other modes? Well, no one's complaining about the Dramatic Ages, or sorry, not the Dramatic Ages. People always complain about Dramatic Ages, but we have not gotten any complaints yet about the Apocalypse mode, but that's partly because we've not had any game go long enough, which part of it was the Dramatic Ages. Once we tone that down, then all of a sudden the Apocalypse mode's gonna basically happen a little more often, because, you know, if you only have 2 civs making it to the end of the game, or to, you know, turn 315, you're not gonna have as much pollution. So yeah. All right, so we do have the zombies here, and the zombies actually went and ended up killing some of the Aztec units. Interesting. And the zombie killing an Eagle Warrior actually spawned out another zombie, which is hilarious. That being said, the zombies are still getting absolutely destroyed here. Oh no, we actually got to see what their damage was there for a second. Yeah, okay, if we hover over the city, we can actually see it. So they're only at 24 mutagen strength. So they're still significantly weaker than the crazy company. Still significantly weaker than any of the Eagle Warriors, which spawn at 28. I would have to assume at this point they have... Did they grab a bonus? Nope, they still have not worked on any of their resources yet. Okay, well then. They could be trading for one, though. I would not put that past the AI. All right, so Nubia ended up settling another city. They ended up getting Ekin back. The new city, though, is probably going to end up flipping over here to Gran Colombia. Zulu are kind of just hanging out. They're just kind of expanding. They did end up losing Nobamba. But no, it's Nobamba. Nobamba, right? Yeah. But anyways, it's flipping back. It's flipping back. Haddington did flip to China, but that one is going back. Or did China conquer it? I think it flipped. I don't remember if these two were ever at war. But Haddington is going to flip back to Scotland. Yeah, because Scotland had a Dark Age, right? Now, Scotland's in the Golden Age. Maybe it flipped before the era? I don't really remember, but it should flip here pretty quickly. Now, the one thing to keep in mind here is China looks significantly stronger than Scotland. 336 to 320. Okay, not as major as I thought. I just sitting here seeing the Crouching Tigers rolling around, and I'm like, that seems kind of intimidating. Now, they only have catapults. Crouching Tigers aren't going to do that much against the walls here. And he still only has ancient walls. So there is a chance that China could do some offensive, maybe do some conquering here. The only thing that kind of sucks, look at all these traps, man. The only thing that kind of sucks, though, is it's not really easy. Scotland's pretty defensive here. Haddington is going to be a hard city to defend with for Scotland, but the other ones should be fairly easy to defend. Now, Rome and Korea have a huge border with each other, so I would imagine we're going to see them fighting a lot. Okay. All right. Korea might be having herself a game here. She has Mount St. Michel, and she has the statue of Zeus popping out here. Excuse me, hiccups. And I think she's going to get both of them. Rome's popping out 2 wonders himself. Okay. Let's see. Any wonders popping out here? You got the obelisk. You have the Chichen. But that's a really slow Chichen, so I can't imagine you're going to end up with that Chichen. Never mind. It's 4 turns. Never mind. Potato Palace over there. That's a really slow Potato Palace. I cannot imagine you end up with that one. And then Gran Colombia's not actually building wonders. Interesting. He's going to want those wonders, though. Hurricane hit Rome. Didn't really do a whole lot. So I would actually imagine Korea's going to be pretty high. Yeah, Korea's in striking range. Right now, Shaka's in first place. I would not have imagined that. Seeing as Shaka got the Dark Age. So what's going on here? Why? Wonder score is only 30, so not that big of a deal. Korea's at 30 also on wonder score. But we were looking at 2 more wonders popping out. No, you did just get... Okay, that was with both of the wonders. So those are your only 2 wonders. Okay, so that basically helped you catch up a little bit. Although, keep in mind right now, remember, top 2 moves. So 466 is right now at least the baseline that you need to be at. Here's the funny thing. Everyone's really within striking range. Scotland is struggling definitely a bit. But, you know, I mean, Haddington's flipping back. Haddington's going to be worth a decent amount here, especially since it's just free city flipping and not being conquered. That means at least it's not losing population. So Haddington will flip in 6 turns. That'll give you a little bit. And I mean, the thing is, they might be able to go get some Chinese cities. They could also still settle over there. Settling down here is going to be a little bit harder. So, I mean, they're going to have their work cut out for them for sure. We can't actually look at them, so I can't see what their... I would love to see what their blah 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 agenda is. Akkad is also there, and then also Woolen, so they could grab both city-states, which is probably something that they're going to want. Now, Akkad they might not be able to hold on to, depending on how loyalty ends up flipping out over here. The other thing to keep in mind is there is potential here if Rome starts doing some conquering. Maybe they could come and start doing some pushing as well. So Nuri ended up flipping... And it looks like it's going to Gran Colombia, which is kind of hilarious. Gran Colombia looks like they might be going for Mogadishu, which that's going to be a hard take. But, you know, good luck on that. Aztecs are also... I'm surprised Aztecs aren't in last place. But then again, both Robert the Bruce and Aztecs did end up losing the city. So that does make sense. Aztecs are rolling around with a bunch of trebuchet to fight against the coursers and the catapults. Or, sorry, the trebuchets. Sorry, the crossbows. The 3rd Artillery. You named your crossbows the 3rd Artillery. I mean, I suppose that makes sense because if you look at the definition for artillery, isn't it about like range damage? Artillery definition. So large caliber guns used in warfare. Now, military detachment or branch armed forces. No. Give me like the actual definition of artillery. Here we go. Is weapons, such as bows, slings, or catapults for discharging missiles. Okay, so 3rd Artillery actually completely makes sense. Hey, we all learned something about English today. Unless you already knew that, then, well, shut up. Anyways, Potato Palace is still going over here, and we've not seen anyone else try grabbing it. Actually, 39 turns, 28 turns, still going to the Zulu, man. Still going to the first place Zulu. Hadn't really really seen too many of the barbarian encampments turning into city-states. I don't know if that's still happening and we're just missing it or what. I mean, I would assume it's probably happening in like random tiles and stuff like that. Remember when there was a city-state over here and Gran Colombia just razed it to the ground? Brian remembers. Brian remembers indeed. Okay, so Haddington now is back with Scotland. Still in last place. Still in last place. But he also doesn't have any wonders or anything like that. You know what? I mean... Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen the barricade before. It kind of looks cool. Walls. I gotta be honest, I think Scotland got screwed here. Not necessarily because of the lack of land, but because of the total terrain here. Like, this is all flat land, man, other than the volcano here. Like, this is just like trash tier start. Yeah, unfortunately. Which, once again, I'm sorry, but RNG, and there's like only so much I can do to stop the RNG. Like, you know, I think we're even playing on one of the better maps, like one of the modded maps, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong on that. Kill was getting thrown down by Aztecs. Cannot imagine that one actually finishes off. 90 turns. Aztecs also are getting hit by a dust storm in a city that has no sand. But what? Aztecs ended up losing another territory. Okay, so everyone got a Dark Age here except Nubian and Zulu, the only two that had a Dark Age last era. That is actually kind of crazy for Nubia. I think Nubia is going to end up conquering here Aztec passively. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to end up happening. Okay, these are both desert tiles. Still, that was a very weird spot for a dust storm to spawn. Like 2 tiles, and both of them currently had crap on it. Although, actually, I guess technically, well, no, that said volcanic ash. I don't know. Zulu, I don't know, is going to really be able to grab much, though, due to the Dark Age. Luckily for Gran Colombia, they lost Nuri, which is pretty far away, and it's actually flipping right back to them, which is kind of crazy. So they didn't really get too screwed by that. Jinju would be the Korea, and then Ostia is Rome, which unfortunately is pushing hard now on Rome. Now, we've seen this in the past. The AI really could stop some of this loyalty issue if they better utilize their governors and their policies. They really could hold on to the cities. So part of this is just bad AI. So, you know, apologies. Shanghai flipped, as did Haddington. Haddington's flipping back in 6 turns. Shanghai's 34 turns. You're 7 turns. I think China's going to be okay here. Yeah, and ironically, Scotland is going to be fine for now, and they should end up passing Aztecs, because I just don't see Aztecs holding on here. So, ooh, interesting. Zulu is going to grab northern Aztec land. Interesting. Okay. They got the Machu Picchu in there, too, so that's going to be a nice little free city. So Nubia, I think, is going to be carving their way to first place here. If they get all the Aztecs, or if they get the rest of this, they're definitely going to be pushing first. We'll have to wait and see what their exact score will be, but I cannot imagine they wouldn't be top 2 at that point. So Haddington, so this is big for Haddington to flip before Guangzhou, because my assumption is at that point Guangzhou might not actually be flipping. I don't know. 7.1. You just need to put a single governor there, China. Just a single governor. God, this sucks. China's fun in this game, and we're just basically watching both Chinas just get absolutely destroyed in the first 2 games. Oh well. We're going to have to root for a new one. Who am I rooting for in this series? You know, as hilarious as it would be to have a 3-time Gandhi win, I don't think I can root for Gandhi. I just don't think that's possible. I gotta root for, I think, Russia, because I've literally rooted against Russia every single game of my life, just because they're always so overpowered. But at this point, like, they deserve to have won. So, you know, I kind of feel like we need to see a Russia win. Interesting. Haddington's flipping still. Guangzhou is still flipping as well. Haddington's going to flip a little harder now, too, with Guangzhou, because they're both within range. Shanghai's flipping in 7 turns. God, if all you did was put a governor there, you would have all your territory back. All right. Well, China screwed itself because of its own incompetence, which, you know, hey. You know what? I will 100% give Civ developers credit on this, because this isn't completely ahistorical, you know, not specifically about China or anything like that, but there has been many countries in life that have basically screwed themselves over because of their incompetence. So, you know what, seeing that happen isn't really the most inaccurate thing in the world. Although, from a player standpoint, yes, it's definitely annoying. So, Korea's losing a bunch of towns right now. Interesting. Aztecs are slowly becoming Nubian, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's like a culture. This reminds me a lot of, what was it? The Cultural Victory? I think it was Civ 4 that had like the big cultural stuff where you could actually physically flip cities via culture, which was always pretty baller when that happened. I loved. That was like my favorite thing, to build a bunch of wonders and actually flip cities via culture. But yeah, basically that's what's happening here. I almost kind of wish it would happen without the free city, but oh well. Now, what would be interesting is when we do adjust the dramatic age stuff, what we'll see happen is we'll see the one town flip, and then that town's going to end up flipping to probably the person with the golden age. But what you won't see happen is you won't see a bunch of other towns flip to a dark age, ideally. So like, for example, I think in this particular case, Guangzhou probably wouldn't have flipped because there wouldn't have been enough loyalty pressure from just Shanghai. And I think that makes a little more sense. I think one free city flipping a bunch of cities around it is a little awkward. So yeah, I think toning it down isn't the worst thing in the world. So I'm down with that. I'm definitely down with that for now. Ironically, I also wouldn't even mind that when I play in single player too, but whatever. So Shanghai's still flipping back. Actually kind of shocked here, but it's got to be pretty slow. 6 turns, 7 turns. All right, they'll get Shanghai, which then might actually keep Chengdu from flipping. Okay. Rome ended up throwing a new city over there, which is good for them because that means they're not really too likely to just get completely wiped out here. The unfortunate part is if they get another Dark Age, it'll probably be RPM. But this is kind of the biggest issue with Dark Ages too, is once they start losing a bunch of cities, it's just impossible for them to hold on. Because now all of a sudden they have like no cities, So it's just like, it's a slow thing where they just they just get Dark Age after Dark Age after Dark Age, and you just can't come back from it. Which I think, once again, then, having less cities flip would be a little more beneficial. I don't necessarily mind them putting pressure on each other. Like, I don't mind that. In fact, I would love to see that turned up a little bit more, but I don't think that actually has any variation in dramatic age. I think it's only the free cities putting more pressure. I think is it. So Texcoco is flipping soon. Looks like they will be able to hold on to the last 2 cities, at least until they get another Dark Age. But, hey. So Nubia is definitely the big winner out of this one. They've jumped all the way up to 3rd place. Shaka is kind of running away with it right now, which admittedly is still surprising. I have to say probably even Rome is still in this as well, because you got to remember, Rome's not too far back, and they have, a bunch of cities right now that will be flipping to them. Well, they were flipping to them. Jinju's going to them, right? Kind of slow now. Yeah, it looks like it went from... Interesting. And so it doesn't look like they are going to get it. But they do have vampires. So they have vampires, and they also have Hercules. That's kind of crazy. And their vampires are a 65 melee strength. So there is a good chance that they could take Kublai back. I mean, really, if they just start grabbing some of these cities, I think Rome's going to be in a very good position. Question is whether or not the AI is going to be strong enough to do it. Scotland ended up losing... Wait, Gwangju, that actually would have been a Korean city. Oh, all right. Well, that's good news for Scotland, because they're not doing anything themselves. Shanghai did end up going back to China, which then stopped the rest of the flipping. So yeah, not surprised by that. And the funny thing is that actually is good for them too, because that gives them a little bit of error score as well. It's like, hey, we got error score for getting our own city back. So we're less likely to get another Dark Age. Yay, us. You're flipping in 12 turns. So unless you get a Dark Age, this might not flip. Although that's actually not bad for Aztecs, and actually probably really, really good too for Zulu, because chances are this will be the city, if he gets another Dark Age, that's going to flip, which means these two are still not going to flip at least till next era, so they're not going to immediately flip to Nubia. So that's good for Shaka, trying to keep back Nubia. Although in the scheme of things, really Shaka at this point should be fairly safe, unless he gets a very ill-timed Dark Age. But he got a bunch of free cities there. I cannot imagine him getting a Dark Age here with, a couple of those cities flipping. Well, I guess it was only one. No, it was two too, because Nobamba, I think, I don't know. Either way, one city, we'll see. Probably had a couple wonders too as well, right? He's at 105 wonders. He's got to be wonder obsessed, man. He's got to be. He's got some crazy, that's what, how many, 105? 90 would be 6, so that's 7 wonders. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, Korea is basically gone at this point. Question is that going to screw over Rome? Maybe. Rome needs a golden era here. That's big for them. They actually have a governor here. And then what they really need is they need to grab one of these towns. Unfortunately, Korea had a huge scientific advantage before she died off. Because you can see Jinju with the 72 garrison defense strength, which is higher than anything Rome has right now. Except his capitals. So she had a slightly better unit, slightly stronger unit. Yeah, the line infantry corps, it looks like. Now, these vampires at 65 combat strength, yeah, they're just not going to be able to punch through a 72. Now, you're going to need some bombards for sure, but probably more than that. And let's see. Okay, so it's still only ancient walls. So if there is some chance, it's the fact that it's only ancient walls. I think he needs Jinju first, man. I don't know. We'll see. This is a big era here. This is going to tell us a lot about what's going to happen the rest of this game. All right, so China got another Dark Age. Korea got a Dark Age. Nubia got a Dark Age. Aztecs, Rome got a Dark Age, and Simón got a Dark Age. Scotland and Zulu got the Golden Age. The game is supposed to stop here. World Congress is in 11 turns. So I think that, well, actually, no, that didn't kill that town. What town did Rome end up losing then? Interesting. I don't know what town Rome ended up losing then. Because it looks like they still have these guys. Oh, lugged them. They're holding on. But they're not going to be able to push forward any. China ended up losing, what is that? Shirang? They're not losing anything right now to Scotland, though. So that Scotland Golden Age actually wasn't going to be as helpful as I thought it was. Texcoco did flip, and it's actually flipping back to Aztec. Now, Nubia ended up losing Nuri again. Actually, no, that was Gran Colombia. Oh, they lost Hay. They lost Hay. Which is actually going over to Zulu. Please don't build the Cristo Redentor there because you have your Panama Canal. Oh my God. And you have a freaking battleship there, for the love of God. That's actually not the worst place for a battleship, though, because it's just, I mean, it is a 3 attack range, and that is your frontline city. Is actually flipping to Zulu, though, which is kind of crazy to me. I don't feel like that one should be flipping that way. All right, so this is going to kind of put a kink in Nubia's comeback. Kublai Khan is still not that far behind. The funny thing is how far behind Robert the Bruce is, even though he did just get a Golden Age. It's just like he's not really grabbing anything right now. Yeah, I don't know if he has really any opportunities. He's probably real behind. Really far behind, too, when it comes to, like, everything. The yields and stuff like that. So that's where I just don't feel like he had a good starting location. From a terrain standpoint. Like, I mean, look at how few trees he has compared to, like, even Korea. Very disappointed Korea got knocked out. But once again, not at all surprised Korea is the first one to get eliminated. Because, it seems like every time I cast one of these, Korea is one of the first ones eliminated. Of course, the most OP AI would be the first one eliminated every single time in her games. Because, yeah. All right, so Zhurong is not flipping back to China. A little surprising there. But China could get a Golden Age after this, and I don't know, maybe do some work. Getting some wonders here, though, with Scotland is also going to be nice. That's going to be maybe the only way he can dig it back. Now, if we look here at overall, I want to look at yields here. So science, Shaka is kind of starting to run away with it. He also has a bunch of culture. And dude, look at that production, man, 563. And almost double the food of everyone else as well. Yeah. I think he's going to be fairly safe at this point. Is he going to win the game before 315? He actually might be able to. He's getting, let's see, he's getting the Broadway. So yeah, that's the super early wonders or super late game wonders. He's got Ruhr Valley. Yeah, I was going to say he's probably got to be close to space stuff. And I mean, he's not even turned 200 yet and he's already unlocked spaceports. So yeah, he is set up well to actually win the game before 315. We'll see whether or not the AI is smart enough to do that. That being said, right now, it looks like we're going to have Shaka plus one other Civ. Simón Bolivar, it's his game to lose. He still has a ton of terrain here. Nubia also has the potential here. She might need to do some work against Aztecs. Aztecs are falling way far behind. So at some point, she should just have the troops just to be able to conquer it, you would think. The other option here is, if Scotland could go and maybe go against China, then maybe they could sneak in. And then the same thing here, if Rome just could out-tech the free city here and maybe start taking some of the free cities, then they could as well. So Obviously, I don't really expect any of those to happen except probably Gran Colombia, but we'll see. We'll see. That's the way I played out. So for now, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, comment, let me know what you think. As always, hit the subscribe button, join the game, comment, share, support. See you guys tomorrow. Bye, everyone.